Right, everyone, welcome back. Thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thanks for clicking on the video and wanting to know about electrical stuff. So today I'm going to be talking about things you should know before becoming an electrician. This is sort of the same thing as frequently asked questions as an electrician, but that'll be a separate video, but these are pretty much going to overlap a lot. So these are just some quick ideas. This is the idea that I had for the day, and these are the things that came to me off the top of my head. So I'm just going to go over these real quick. Actually, it's probably going to be like 10 minutes, but in no particular order. I tried to order these a little bit, but these are just things that you should know before becoming an electrician. So number one, there's going to be probably a wait to get into the apprenticeship. And so I've heard of people like waiting a year or about 2 years or more. So you're going to want to try to get into an apprenticeship as soon as possible, because there might be a wait time, because there's only so many people accepted. Like thousands of people may apply to get into the school to become an electrician, and there's usually like 100 or less accepted a year. So that's like a 90% chance of you not getting in. So you want to get in and apply as quickly as possible if this is something that you want to do. Number two, as an apprentice, it might start out kind of rough, because you might have to be doing some grunt work, like carrying materials around or running errands or whatnot. So sometimes it can be rough and demotivating when you're just starting out, but that is the way of the trade. Just because labor is cheap as an apprentice starting out, I'll go over that later, but you're just so much more cheaper to have running around doing errands and grabbing stuff than a fully paid electrician making over 30 to 50 bucks an hour. So that's just the way of the trade. So it is a rough start sometimes depending on where you work at, but it does get better, trust me. Number three, the union schooling, I believe, is free, and the non-union apprenticeship is, I'd say, about $7,000 max, just because it's a 4-year program for the non-union, and then the union program is 5 years. So yeah, I'll go over that a little bit later, but the non-union cost $4,000, about $4,500 for the one that I went to. It's basically $1,000 a year, $250 a quarter, and then for the labs and stuff and maybe some books that you have to buy. So that's the only extra, is basically the labs and the books. So I'd say you have 4 years to complete the program. It took me 5, but you have 6 years max to complete it. So I'd say $6,000 for 6 years, and then if you have to do labs and extra books and stuff, I'd throw in an extra $1,000. So I'd say $7,000 max for non-union, and union should be free. I didn't go through the union, so I'm not 100% for sure on that, but I believe so. Next, you don't have to go to trade school or have any prior knowledge to become an electrician. I had zero knowledge before I started back in 2012, I believe it was. So I didn't have nothing, no knowledge, anything, and now fully licensed electrician, have my own apprentices sometimes at work. So I'm a living example that you don't need any prior experience at all. And I did not go to a trade school. I just went through an apprenticeship. So don't have to waste any money on trade school if you don't have to. Next, the union has some great benefits after this first year. So the first year is kind of like, I guess, an indenturement, maybe, if that's the right word. But the first year, you don't really get any benefits in the union besides like all your healthcare and all that stuff, I'm sure, is taken care of. But as far as like retirement and stuff, that comes after the first year. And the union also has higher wages, but I'll go over that here shortly. Next, in the union, you're basically locked to a company, at least where I'm at. You're basically sent to a company, and you can't really leave there unless you need a rotation to get different kind of experience as an electrician. So the union, you're kind of locked to a company, so hopefully it's a good fit. Otherwise, you might be miserable if you have to work at a company that you don't really want to. I'm not sure if there's a way around that, so don't get like too turned off by the union on that. And then the non-union, you can work for any company. So say I'm working for a company, I don't like them, I can just leave or whatever, put in my 2 weeks and then just go work for any other company. But in the union, you can't really do that. So that's kind of a disadvantage to the union. And then next, there are layoffs. Like the longest I've been at a company is 2 years straight, and I have gone to work at other companies on and off, which isn't a bad thing because it's good to have it's good to work for multiple companies, so you can always fall back to another company and get to know people and build that kind of bond and relationship between multiple companies. So that's not a bad thing, but it is nice to work for one company for a long period of time and not having to worry about finding another job or anything like that. So layoffs are not always inevitable, but they are common, and it's not something to be afraid of. It's not hard to find work. It's not hard to get another job very soon. So what I'm saying is it is easy to get another job soon, so it's not that big of a deal. For me personally, it's just kind of annoying to start over at a new company and just getting to know everyone and feeling comfortable and stuff like that. So that's unfortunate a little bit, but it is just the way of the trade sometimes. And then, like I said, the apprenticeship program is 4 to 5 years, depending on if you go union or non-union. The non-union is 4, the union is 5, and that is because the union goes to school for 8 hours for 1 day a week. So you work 4 days in the union, and in the non-union you work 5 days a week, and then you go to school one night after work for 4 hours. So one of those nights in the non-union is going to be a really long day, going to work for 8 hours and then going to school for 4 hours. But in the union, you work for 4 days, and then 1 day a week, you go to school for like, I think it's 8 hours a day. So in total, you need 8,000 hours to complete your, to be eligible to become a journeyman, which is like roughly 4 to 5 years. And then like the classroom hours, I believe, is like 144 hours total, or a year, I'm not sure on that one. I forget. I think it's 144 hours for the whole apprenticeship. So moving on, the yearly wage for electricians for non-union, it's probably about 73,000, depending on obviously what you're getting paid per hour. But around here, the wages are about, for union and non-union, it's about $73,000 to $105,000 a year. And when you're in the apprenticeship, you start at anywhere, whether if you're union or non-union, you start around $16 to $20 an hour, and then by the time that you finish, you're at about $30 to $35 an hour, all the way up to like $42 to $45 an hour. And which brings me to my next point. The pay increases are every 1,000 to 1,500 hours. In the union, or in the non-union, the school that I went through, every 1,000 hours you get a raise, and that's usually like anywhere from $1 to $3 an hour. So every 1,000 hours you work, you get a $1 to $3 an hour raise. And in the non-union, or in the union, it's still, you start at like every 1,000 hours, and then eventually it moves up to like every 1,500 hours. So a little bit different pay increases. There's what was it? I think there's eight different wages as the non-union, and in the union there's 10 different. Maybe I'm getting that confused. I haven't thought about it for a while, but in the non-union there's less ranks, and in the union there's more ranks, I believe. Maybe I'm getting that actually confused. But anyways, there's different pay rates in the union and non-union. They're a little bit different, but you do get increases every 1,000 to 1,500 hours. And then you do have to wear a tool belt in the non-union. It's a common practice to see a lot of people wearing tool belts in the non-union. It's pretty expected. Not all non-union companies wear tool belts, but in the union, at least where I'm from, you don't have to wear a tool belt at all. You don't even have to own a tool belt. You can either have like a tool backpack, a tool pouch, tool bag, or any different kind of roll-in tool belt or tool bag or anything like that. So, and there's a lot of carts in the union, so you can put your tools on carts and stuff like that. But don't necessarily have to wear a tool belt, but depending on where you work, if you're union or non-union, sometimes that can be expected. But you can also get like shoulder straps and stuff like that if you want to. But and union is pretty common to not have to wear a tool belt. So if that's something you're worried about, maybe go that route. And then lastly, I always get asked, do you have to be good at math? And the answer to that is not necessarily, but it certainly helps. The basic math, basically the math that you're dealing with is algebra. That's the only required math that you have to know to get into the apprenticeship. You have to like take a math test or whatever to prove that. And then in the field, you don't have to use any more basic math than, you don't have to use any super intense math in the field, more just the basic math like addition, subtraction, fractions, and stuff like that. But you will need to know some math to pass the apprenticeship classes, which is going to be more in sometimes dealing with algebra and stuff like that, doing problem solving and stuff like that, and different kind of calculations for like house loads and circuitry loads and stuff like that. So hopefully this video helped you out. Hopefully I didn't butcher it too bad. Those are the 12 things that came up to me off the top of my head. So hopefully I explained that well and it came out all right, and got my point across that I needed to. So anyways, that's going to do it for this video, and stay tuned. I will get out another frequently asked questions video and then provide all those answers for you. I just have to go back and find all the questions and then answer them. So hopefully I can do a collaboration with my electrician or something. That would be a great video to collab with and get that nailed down well for that video. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. As always, if you enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I would appreciate it, and it would help the channel grow. Check the description down below for anything else, and the first link with the link tree is going to be amazing, so just click that one first, and then anything else, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload or do live streams. Thanks guys so much. God bless. Have an awesome rest of your day. See you in the next one. Peace out.